wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast, a podcast where we explore the application of ancient philosophy to modern life. I'm your host, Steve, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dan. Dan, how's it going today?
Things are going great. The temperatures are great because it's no longer in the 80s. It's in the 70s, amazingly, in August.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that as well. It's 70-something here today, quite lovely outside. And we have been talking about working in order through various chapters of the Enchiridion, and we thought we'd take a slight detour today and do something else and talk about one of the ideas in Stoicism that we see passed down from Socrates. And Socrates famously said that no one does evil voluntarily. Now, I've gotten into arguments with friends about this before, but I think it's an interesting way to view humanity, a way to try to frame the way people behave, and it's a way for us to, like as I said, to frame the way people behave in such a way that we can then kind of accept it and learn to roll with it rather than being discouraged by it. Because if someone's behaving a certain way because they're uneducated about what is truly good, then we now have a path forward, and that path is for us to help them learn what is good, or at least to be an example of what is good so they can learn from our example. So today's episode is that topic, the idea that no one does evil voluntarily. Dan, do you have some Stoic quotes or readings to help solidify this idea?
Sure, I have four. Two from Epictetus and two from Marcus Aurelius. They're all public domain. And, okay, here's the first one. When a man assents, then, to what is false, know that he had no wish to assent to the false, for no soul is robbed of the truth with its own consent, but the false seemed to him to be true. And that's in Epictetus's Discourses 1.28. And in another one, there's a famous story where Epictetus had his lamp stolen, and this is about that. I lost my lamp, because in the matter of vigilance the thief was a stronger man than I, but he bought his lamp for this price. For a lamp he became a thief. For a lamp he broke his faith. For a lamp he became a brute. This seemed to his judgment to be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Marcus, we have, if they are in the wrong, it is because they know no better. They are under the necessity of their own ignorance. For as no soul is voluntarily deprived of truth, so nobody would offend against good manners if they were rightly aware of it. And that's in Meditations book 11.18. And lastly, I have, every soul, says Plato, parts unwillingly with truth. You may say the same of justice, temperance, good nature, and every virtue. It is most necessary to keep this ever in mind, for if you do, you will be more kindly towards all men. And that's in Meditations 7.62.
All right. So several readings there, but all come down to the idea that rather than getting mad at your neighbor when they do something wrong, you should remember that they did so because they were mistaken. They valued the wrong thing because of their ignorance. That's kind of the idea passed on by Socrates. Dan, have you heard of, I haven't read this book myself, but I heard about it. I think it's called The Banality of Evil.
I've also heard of it, but I have not read it.
Yeah, so I think it's about the trial of Adolf Eichmann, the SS guy from World War II, and I think the book's argument in that case was he didn't focus on all the evil things he was perpetrating. He focused on getting that next promotion, looking good amongst his peers, doing the things he was told to do. And
yeah,
so
he viewed himself as a bureaucrat, and he was just enacting processes.
Yeah, and the things he were doing in his view were good, those things were good. He didn't step back and look at the moral consequences of the bigger picture of the stuff he was doing. That was kind of the argument of the book. And so we see this idea that people can do some pretty horrendous things, but it may be, is it because they're evil? Is there something that's evil in this world that's driving this? Or is it a misunderstanding of what is good? A thief, the guy that stole Epictetus's lamp, what do you think, Dan? What did he think was good at the time?
I think the thief made a mistake because he believed that acquiring someone else's property would be a good thing, when in reality the thief was corrupting their character. And the thief is making a mistake out of ignorance regarding where the good lies. He views the good to be in material gain and not in the preservation or development of his moral excellence. Yeah,
so he thinks acquiring the lamp is a good thing, but he doesn't. He thinks that acquiring the lamp is a good thing, and it's a greater good than stealing is an evil in that case, essentially. So the acquisition of the lamp is the ultimate good in that action, and it outweighs the stealing of the lamp. Whereas Epictetus says you've become a brute, you've removed your humanity by becoming a thief, because to live in a society we all have to trust each other to some extent, to work together. But as soon as you start becoming a thief, a murderer, or a liar, you violated that contract. And to the Stoic who lives in a cosmopolitan society, that's a big problem. That's the way I see what we're talking about here.
Socrates, in the Gorgias, he actually takes it to the most extreme example, and he states that a ruthless tyrant is the most miserable of men because he is corrupting his soul profoundly and continuously. So even though he's surrounded by luxury and wealth and beautiful people, he's said that the tyrant is worse off than the victims of his torturers and executioners. And he also said that a less miserable man is the tyrant that is brought low and punished for his wrongdoings, because the punishment may give the tyrant a framework to begin healing his soul and atoning for his transgressions against humanity.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I've never been a tyrant in charge of a country and all, but first of all, you'd have to think that everyone's out to get you at that point. You don't trust anybody, so you're miserable constantly. You probably have someone tasting all your food, someone checking your blankets for venomous snakes when you lay down. It's a constant worry that never goes away. Whereas if you're being punished by an evil tyrant, that would still suck. I don't want that. But
that was what the people arguing against Socrates were pointing out.
That's not fun. But at some level, what you're experiencing is unjust, and it's not your fault. It's not a thing that you caused to happen because of your moral choices. It's
other fellow,
something being imposed upon you, which is beyond your power. That doesn't mean you can't resist it. Stoics don't just stare at the belly button and go, "Oh, something bad's happening to me today. I have to accept everything." You can resist things, but you can't change everything. I can't wish I had more hair on my head. It's not going to help.
And one key is to avoid anger while you're resisting tyranny and injustice.
Yeah, Seneca mentions that, if you get angry, you tend to make poorer choices when trying to fix the problem.
It might even make things worse.
It might make things worse. Whereas if you can approach the problem with the use of reason, the Stoics would argue you're approaching it from the right path, where you have, once again, you can't guarantee success. It's not the results that the Stoics are, aiming for internally. We're trying to apply virtue to the situation. It may not work out, but at least we'll know we've done what we could have done, and we can only do what we can do and no more. But if you don't do anything, that is also a vice to the Stoics as well. So no one does evil voluntarily. So the person that cuts you off in traffic, the classic example of traffic again, Dan. Someone pulls out in front of you. What do you tell yourself so you don't get mad at them?
I generally just assume they didn't see me.
They didn't see you. Yeah, or
Exactly.
maybe
they're too wrapped up in their own little world.
Yeah, maybe they're giving birth or something, right? Like, who knows,
Or
right?
maybe they have a major bathroom emergency and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about statistics, I mean, chances are he's just anxious to get home and watch Netflix a little bit earlier. But for the sake of your own tranquility, it's better to, if you need to, tell yourself stories about why he's doing what he's doing.
Sure. Yeah, well, and the Stoics also often say rather than inventing too many stories, we just remember the facts. Not that person is driving badly, just say that person is driving. Or rather, how about this? That person pulled out in front of me, and end it there, rather than saying that person pulled out in front of me and that is bad and he's a moron. You want to,
and that he's a jerk, or even worse, that you deserve retribution and revenge for this wrongdoing.
So you can either just state the facts, or you can give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they either made a mistake or that their idea of what is good is a little bit misplaced. And if you could have them for an hour to give them some traffic counseling, driving school or something, you could teach them that being part of society is better than being out for yourself and pulling out in front of people and swerving through traffic. But whichever one works best for you to maintain your equanimity, try them out, see what works for you. All right. Well, Dan, you got anything else you want to add this week?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. Well, remember, no one does evil on purpose is the view of Socrates. Perhaps you disagree. And, of course, there may be exceptions. We know a lot more about the brain and mental illness and things like that now. But if you have any thoughts on that, let us know. SundayStoic@gmail.com. And also tell your friends about the show. Spread the word. Share it on social media. And we'll put out another episode in another week. And don't forget, until then, to seize the day. Dan, you want to end it this time?
Carpe diem.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like the world's on fire behind you, Dan.